Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 011111911.
You know, if we lose TikTok, we're going to lose stuff like this. A girl cheated on her boyfriend with her ex. So he found out about it. The current boyfriend.
On her boyfriend.
So she cheated on her current boyfriend with her ex.
Okay.
Following?
Yeah.
He finds out about it. She's like, all right, you can have a pass. You get one with anybody you want. So he gets his best girlfriend. And they make her wait in the car as they do the deed, the makeup. And she does a TikTok video.
If you're here for my recent videos, me and my ex rekindled some old memories, and my current partner, was at a family funeral. So I decided to give him a free pass. He chose his girl best friend. Great. And they are currently upstairs in my room right now.
Okay.
How morally corrupt is society?
This is really, I'm sorry, this is the best. This is like some of the best reality type TV. Now, listen, I don't have a TikTok account. I get these from scrolling around on the internet and finding different sites where I just get the audio because we're doing a radio show. I'm sure I could find this somewhere because her handle is Baby Charlotte 1. But if TikTok goes away, this kind of stuff goes away. She sounds upset. Does she sound upset? I can't tell because she's like British, and I can't tell if she's laughing or crying. There's more.
Old memories, and my current partner, was at a family funeral. So I decided to give him a free pass. He chose his girl best friend. Great. And they are currently upstairs in my room right now using that free pass, and I've been sent to the car. Fair enough. So I'm just sat here in my car waiting for them to come down and tell me I can come back in.
Now, part of me thinks they're not doing anything. You know, it's like, go to the car. Think about it while we do the dirty. But this is his friend. They're not, you know, who knows? Maybe they are doing it. But maybe there's just a chance the girl and the guy are just sitting up there and they're like, all right, let's give it like 30 minutes. Catch up. Make her think we're doing this.
Playing video
to punish
games.
her. To punish her. I don't know. I could never. Once a cheater, always a cheater. If somebody.
No, this is not going to fix the relationship.
No, how is this going to make things better?
You're never going to trust the other person.
Every time you were with that girl, you're going to be thinking about her and her ex that just got it together while you were at your mama's, you know, funeral.
And you're not going to be like, well, it was okay because she let me
sleep with my best friend.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that.
If you sleep with your best friend and you're like, okay, she's my best friend, and now there's a sexual connection, like, why would I be with you? I'd rather be with her. She's my best friend.
So I decided to give him a free pass. He chose his girl best friend. Great. And they are currently upstairs in my room right now using that free pass, and I've been sent to the car. Fair enough. So I'm just sat here in my car waiting for them to come down and tell me I can come back in. Don't cheat.
This was your solution to the problem?
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to go ahead and do it? And he's like, yeah. Okay, fine. Go ahead and do it. No, that's just weird. It's weird.
What is the other solution? You come back and she's cheated on you. I mean, you break it off, but if you don't break it off, she's like, well, no, you can go sleep with anybody you want. Oh, all right. I mean, I don't know if anybody else really wants to sleep with me.
I really didn't.
It was a lot of work just to get you to sleep with me. So
I didn't have designs on that. I mean, I thought, you were the one. And now you're like coming at me with this. This is all new to me. And strange. And there's this a vicious cycle that just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going.
I never had a friend that was a girl. Well, I did. I had friends, but it was like when I was really young, like junior high, high school and stuff like that. But I never had like really close girlfriends after I had a relationship with my now wife, then girlfriend. Did you? When you were dating other girls, were you friends with other girls and spending time with other girls?
No.
And any relationship you've been in.
No.
You kind of just, all the other ones kind of like, all right,
Right.
I'm with her now. So, that's just kind of the rule, right? Unspoken. Like you're with one girl and the other girl's sorry. I'll see you around. Hey, how you doing? But we're not going to go hang out and watch a movie.
I only know one person. I've talked about him before on this program. And he strategically did it. And it bit him in the ass so hard. And what he did is, Seattle, very populous area. You can go an entire lifetime without ever knowing anybody. If you live in the South End, you can go an entire lifetime without ever knowing or forging a relationship with anybody in the North End of town. He had North, South, East, West. He had a girlfriend in the East, girlfriend in West Seattle, girlfriend in North Seattle, and a girlfriend in South Seattle. And they all found out about each other. And this was at the beginning of MySpace, not even Facebook. Okay, this was at the beginning of MySpace.
Yeah, that's what got him.
They tore him down, and it was impossible for him to get a girl in the state at that point.
If I think I know who it is, he was good looking enough to where I'm sure he could find someone else without any trouble.
93.3 KZOZ.
So if you got a trip coming up, the TSA could pull you out of a crowd. You could stick out like a sore thumb if you do one of these 6 things. These are apparently things they look for. Good morning, it is Jeff and Jeremy. If you're one of these people that likes to cake on the perfume or the cologne, they think you might be hiding something. They may pull you aside just to look through your stuff to see if you got any weed or any other drugs
that's good. I hope those people miss their flight, because that's the worst person to sit next to on the flight.
It's always some older lady, I feel like.
Too much cologne or too much perfume. You're like, oh, like you have a headache by the time the flight's over.
Yeah.
Or 15 minutes into the flight in some cases.
You shouldn't, that's just a good, rule. Don't wear perfume and cologne on the plane. Like, you don't need to. Yeah, if you wear it every day, put on deodorant. That'll be enough.
There must be some kind
clean
of
clothes.
Like it's a personality trait or something. Like people that put on perfume or cologne a lot, excessively. It's like I don't get it.
Like they can't leave the house without it. Like it's OCD, right. Almost like
maybe it's not for me to get. Yeah, it's.
So that's one of the things.
Yeah, hopefully they get tied up in the red tape.
Obviously, if you're argumentative and you're aggressive with agents or other people in line.
I never understood people that would be like in line, super vocal about the process. Oh my God! Oh, now they're going to have me go over. Oh, now they're. I'm like, if I work here, I'm singling you out and I'm making you jump through as many hoops as possible.
Yeah, ma'am, can you come back behind the curtain, please?
You're a miserable person.
I'll be right back. I got to get a female. Take like 15 minutes. Yeah, she was on a smoke break. Sorry. She's gonna have to check you. You've been singled out as a
yeah. Oh, I gotta get
additional screening.
Gotta go down to the other station and get one. Hopefully she's not busy. I'll be right back.
I don't get why people are like that either. It's like you're not getting anywhere. It's not like they're gonna like move any faster for you. Dude, if anything, they're gonna look at you and want to be the opposite.
It's like complaining at the fast food restaurant. Really, I mean, it really is. Complaining about your order at the fast food restaurant. There's gonna be retribution there. There's going to be retribution if you're complaining to the TSA.
You can be too chatty with them, and they'll get suspicious that why are they trying to distract me with all this? Yeah, they don't care about your kids and your aunts and your uncles and your grandkids and your dogs and your pets.
Yeah, as somebody who worked at an airport for a couple of years of my life, when you go there every day for your job, there's no romanticizing that place. And it's actually not romantic unless you go into another city that you've never been to before. It's kind of cool. You're like, oh, let's see what this airport's about, and stuff like that. But like your own airport, if you work at your own airport, like there's nothing, like everybody's like happy because they're traveling. I would imagine that the people at the San Luis Obispo airport deal with this all the time because people that come here, for a big part of them, are vacationers. And the business guys, they don't care about the airport. They're just trying to get from point A to point B. So the ones that talk are the vacationers, and they talk about their family and what they're going to do while they're there. You know how many times that person heard that story all day long? It's like, dude, no, we don't want to hear that story. I mean, it's like, okay, oh, cool. That's really cool. And I tend to be somebody who likes to be helpful in that. And you still tire of it,
Yeah, no, it takes a special person.
TSA, they're entrenched in it. They deal with a lot of them. So don't talk their ear off.
Also, not making eye contact. So you go the other way. You're looking down all the time, looking nervous because you're not making eye contact. I don't know why you would feel nervous unless you had something to feel nervous about. And speaking of that, yawning. Apparently people that yawn a lot. A lot of people are tired when they have to go to the airport in the morning.
What?
They say, yeah.
They're singling you out if you yawn?
Yawn is a sign of anxiety, which you could just have anxiety because you're at an airport.
I've never been anxious and been like, oh.
I know they say it's in dogs. If your dog is yawning, that's not because they're tired. They're probably stressed out or anxious.
You're kidding me. I had no idea that was a sign of anxiety.
And being dressed for the wrong weather, like having on too many layers.
But yeah.
In the summertime. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's like I was, going, when you go somewhere nice and warm in the wintertime and it's cold, but you're going somewhere it's going to be like 90 and 85% humidity when you get off the plane. You're like, yeah, you don't want to be wearing jeans. Anyways, these are the top 6 things that the TSA has been trained. Listen, you see somebody yawning, wearing a lot of cologne, looking at the ground? On the ground. Put them on the ground.
That's unfathomable to me. That is a sign of anxiety. Sir, what are you yawning for back there?
You tired? Are you scared?
Freaking, it's 5:30 in the morning? Come on, man.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
So the good thing about the upcoming president is he says a lot of things, and maybe to his own detriment.
Is that good or bad?
Yeah.
I mean, how is that good, by the way? Sometimes I think, it's better just to keep your mouth shut.
I know.
I've been saying that my whole life.
Yesterday on
on
Truth Social, which is his social media network.
Yeah.
Does he get to keep that social media network once he becomes
president? Here's the thing,
Donald.
A lot of people want you banned from this social, that social, because you say stuff and offends people. I'll just get my own.
Okay. I'll just create my own. That's fine.
I don't know if that's really going to fix the problem.
He truthed this yesterday. How do you say it? On Twitter, it's tweet.
I don't know. Truth.
Truth.
Well, there's no more Twitter. It's X. So I think you just post. I think you just say he posted.
So he posted on Truth Social. For far too long, we have relied on taxing our great people using the Internal Revenue Service. It's time for that to change. I am today announcing that I will create the External Revenue Service. This will be created to collect tariffs, duties, and all revenue that come from foreign sources.
Okay. I'll say this, knowing a lot of people in the wine community here, the big concern was, and some of the backlash of when he was president before was, the tariffs that France started putting on California wines, that China started putting on California wines.
You're right.
And so
we're screwed.
It goes both ways. I understand what he's saying, and I think it's great. Let's make our products here. But the products that we're trying to export to other countries, they're getting taxed in those countries, and it's costing,
we're not doing
American businesses that way. So
it's not a two-way street. We're not taxing them for the stuff that comes into our country near as much as they're taxing us for the stuff that we import to them.
And so he says, we're going to tax you the same, if not more. But then it's just this war of back and forth. So, I'm no expert. I'm not a financial guy. I'm not, but that's the concern, right?
Yeah. I was thinking about taxes the other day and just the pain in the ass taxes are.
Well, they're
you
huge
collect
ass.
all the paperwork. You got to collect all the paperwork.
And the idea of what we started taxing people for, and it's just blown out of control. Like if you own a small business, like my friend owns a small business, and he has a couple of bars, restaurants. I mean, it's crazy what he pays in taxes.
It's not just that the payment sucks. Yes, it's stupid. Like you're
getting taxed on as well, and fees.
But it's also just the process of getting all the stuff together for the taxes, the visit to the accountant, the dropping them off at the accountant, the fees
it takes
that you have
him
to
months.
pay the accountant.
Probably because he's a bit of a not a focused person, but it takes him days. I'll say several days.
He's running businesses.
Just to get the paperwork ready to go to the accountant that he pays to do his taxes.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's like you have to focus on running your small business, running your life, and then also getting all your ducks in a row, take it to the accountant, and inevitably the accountant's like, I need this, 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 and this. So then you got to go search for this, 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 and this, and you got to take it back to the accountant, and it's just a rigmarole. It's just a huge rigmarole. There's got to be an easier way to do this without an internal revenue service that is, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of employees nationwide that are getting salaries from what? Taxes. Flat tax. I don't know what percentage the federal government gets right now. But if you were like, hey, listen, we're not going to deal with the filing or anything like that anymore. Let's just do a federal flat tax. The federal flat tax is going to end up taxing people who make more and spend more money because they're going to be making more and spending more money. It drives everything. How is it that we have so much fat? And I'm not just talking government. I'm talking about people that and I have a friend that makes a living off of doing people's taxes, and his job would be obliterated if there was a flat, or not obliterated, but reduced quite a bit if there was just a flat tax. But could you imagine what a convenience that would be for Americans if we could just be like, oh, taxes? Yeah, I pay that every time I buy something. I would be down for that, just for the convenience of it. Like if it was like you have a choice, and I don't know what the federal government takes. I think it's like somewhere around 20% or something like that. If they just said, okay, sales tax 20%. If the state wants to add it on, the state can add it on. They can add on their taxes to that, but it's just flat sales. And then that then creates competition between the states. And you have states like Florida, Tennessee, Texas that people already moved to for the tax advantages. They would have the ability to still offer those tax advantages, and people would go there and live there and take advantage of those tax advantages. And maybe more people would move from California because the tax would here, let's face it, would be super steep. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying I'm for this, because you would see the price of everything go up, but the price, it generally goes up anyways. They add sales tax to everything, just incrementally, a little bit over time. Just say, okay, this is this until we vote for it, or we realize we're not bringing in enough money from this. Then then your only people doing the taxes would be the actual people that collect money for their services. They'd be like, okay, here's your 30% off the top.
It just seems like such an undertaking to overhaul the tax, the system.
Is it?
The system.
You shut it down and you add 20%.
That way. Yeah, no, I guess.
But this should be the simplest thing. And then you have all these people that could go work in the private sector, do whatever they need to do to drive the private sector and, for lack of a term, make America great again.
Well, we need to create more jobs first, because there's people that are looking for jobs that can't get them. I really believe the people that say they can't find a job are people that want to specifically work in one field and they can't get a job in that, so they're like, oh, there's no jobs out there. Well, yeah, there is. You might have to change from bussing tables or waiting tables to, I don't know, swinging a hammer, digging a ditch.
What are the drawbacks? 805-543-3693. Because I'm not, believe me, I'm horrible with numbers. I am bad with money. I am, it's just, we
get called out on the regular, on the reg for our math
but
skills.
What would be problematic about just an off the top tax on things that you buy? And that's the only taxes that you pay, because of the fact that you wouldn't have this hassle waiting for you and gathering the paperwork. And I'm pretty simple. I own a house, have 2 salaries, some kids, some write-offs, and I can't stand the process of going around and collecting the paperwork. I couldn't imagine being a business owner. Like, maybe that would cause businesses to flourish a little bit more. Every month you're like, okay, I made this much this month. They get 30%. Here is your 30%. Let's move on, move forward. 805-543-3693.
The Duchess of Cambria writes in. She says, yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. My LLC tax return was 55 pages long. What a pain in the ass.
See
and
what I
super
mean?
expensive.
Like I said, I'm a simple man. I work for somebody. And maybe, like my dad used to always say, well, you can't get rich working for other people. And I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. But also, well, how do you define rich? Because sitting down for 3 months of every year to make sure you have all the paperwork that you need to be able to continue on is super duper frustrating.
I guess the rich people have somebody that they pay to do that for them.
Yes, I understand that, but like, how many are middle of the road? I mean, they're trying to get rich, but it's just the system.
No, I was just answering your question.
Yeah.
You said, "How do you determine rich?"
Yeah.
Here's Brian. Hey, good morning, Brian.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing?
Good.
Right on. Hey, this is going to sound weird, but the problem with a flat tax is equality.
Like, what do you mean by that?
Everybody has to pay the same amount of tax. That's an issue.
I know that is an issue.
That's a big issue. Now, I can't go out and buy a fleet of Priuses for my pot delivery service, right? Get that state subsidy, get that federal subsidy, and then write off the depreciation entirely. I can't do that if we go to a flat tax.
How is that fair that all these rich bastards that have so much more money than the rest of us have to pay the same tax that we do? Right, Paul?
Well, wouldn't that be horrible? Like, how are we taxing the rich more if they're paying their fair share? On the issue of fair share, you guys should keep a close eye on the SALT debate, state and local taxes debate. Now, as someone who advocates for everyone to pay their fair share, I think everyone should pay their rate of local taxes, their rate of state taxes, and their rate of federal taxes. If we're going to have taxes, I'm also a crazy person who doesn't believe in taxes.
Me too.
But if we're going to have them, everyone should be able to pay their state, their local, and their federal taxes. The SALT deduction, which is currently, I don't think it's active right now, but it was $10,000. So if you racked up $10,000 in state and local taxes, you could just deduct them from your federal taxes. Is that paying your fair share? Is that using the hammer of high state and local taxes to hit your local politicians to lower your state and local taxes?
Not really.
No.
It keeps local politicians in power because people are like, "Wow, dude, that guy's in office." I can go ahead and write off $10,000 worth of my taxes and have it go against my federal. So it's a local versus federal. It pits the sides against each other.
It gets even better because now there's talk that they want to raise it to $20,000.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
All this, but you understand.
If you live in an area,
complicated tax code is what becomes the problem. And this just complicates things even further. So, like, if you just said off the top, we know it's going to cost us this much in order to maintain roads, maintain buildings, maintain bridges, maintain government facilities, maintain public spaces. This is what we've come out with for the equation. This is what we need to get. We think we can get this much if we set it at 21%. And then you set it at 21%, and then you pay 21% on everything you buy. And then...
No, I get it.
And then nobody has to do any friggin' paperwork except for the accountants on the very high end. And then we should have the ability to audit them and say, okay, how's this, listen, if we have a debt clock that is running on 16 different places on the internet, then we should be able to look in and say, okay, how are we meeting our goal? If not, you go out and you want a park, go out and spend a little bit more money. Maybe you'll get a park.
And we should be able to say, hey, I can't write off this $10,000 to the federal government for some sucker in some poor state like Indiana to cover the distance or the difference or whatever.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, hey, Salud, I'm really upset, or local people, I'm really upset about the tax level. What can we do? And they look at you and they shrug your shoulders and they go, well, we asked you to conserve 20% of water, so we had to raise the water bill by 18% because we didn't know we'd get less revenue when you guys saved water.
The contractor Paul writes in and he says, you think corporate America is going to go for that because they pay no taxes right now?
And there you go, equality.
And they'll have to. They won't go for having to pay 21%. And I'm just throwing arbitrary numbers out there. I have no idea what it is.
No, absolutely. I totally. It could be 17.77%, whatever it is.
Whatever it costs to get things done. And we get to say, okay, listen, what are you guys getting done? We get to hold them accountable. And it makes it easier because while they're holding us accountable, we're too busy trying to get our ducks in a row to show that accountability. Whereas if it just comes off the top, we get to look at it. All that time spent towards focusing on taxes, we can focus on how they're spending our money.
Jeff, have you seen the meme? It's a Western duel, and one person is a taxpayer, and the other person is the IRS. And the taxpayer is saying, "How much do I owe you?" And the IRS is saying, "How much do you think you owe me?"
That's exactly what it is. And we get squeezed on that from everything. From the banks to the mortgage rates. It's all too complex. It doesn't need to be.
We don't even get an assumption of innocence.
No. What's that?
It's insane.
What's that? Well, that's why they bought a bunch of ammunition, right? The IRS.
Dude, yeah.
It could go next level.
Why do they have a SWAT team? Like, what's going on here? You guys have a great day.
You too. Guy can push somebody out in front of a subway and not go to jail. But man, you do your math wrong, dude. We're coming after you.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. 93.3 KZOZ rocks.
Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 01111 911.